Final thoughts now. The constitutional collision between the federal response and the blue state, blue city response to Corona is happening. Oh yeah, like a runaway locomotive barreling down the tracks toward a train on the same tracks headed in the opposite direction. This locomotive, without constitutional brakes, is being fueled by out-of-control temporary politicians like in the states of California, New York, Colorado, Illinois, among others. There's no stopping these engineers who are full throttle attacking God-given rights of residents of their states. The train headed in the opposite direction, right at it, is piloted by President Trump, who's responding to the Wuhan coronavirus in a measured, rational, and constitutional manner. And this head-on collision is taking place very, very soon. The blue state train is filled with all sorts of various ways to prevent millions of Americans from exercising their constitutional rights. The right to assemble, the right to practice religion in a group, the right to due process, the right to move freely, the right to engage in commerce, and a whole host of other rights that are ostensibly protected and enumerated in the United States Constitution. Governors and mayors are threatening to arrest people if they happen to attempt to exercise these constitutional rights. Governors and mayors are ordering people to place themselves under house arrest or face government's consequences. Governors and mayors who are deciding unilaterally which businesses are to remain open and which are to be shuttered, many of which will not survive this government-mandated closure. This is the 815 Express whose destination is tyranny, and it's on a collision course with the train we call the Constitution, whose destination is liberty. This Trump locomotive is issuing guidance, not edicts, just strong suggestions. Trump White House using common sense, not tyranny, as a guide to help Americans through the Wuhan coronavirus outbreak. These are guidelines like social distancing and avoiding unnecessary travel, not going to nursing homes for the time being. The federal response to the Wuhan coronavirus addresses restaurants. However, instead of ordering businesses to shut down by government edict, Trump White House offers common sense solutions like using drive-through or pickup or delivery options. There's no federal government mandate that brings our once robust economy to a grinding halt. For example, the guideline is if you can work at home, great. But there's no threat to we the people if we do not comply to choose to do this and try and live a more normal life. So this is the collision which is unfolding right now because the numbers have stabilized, peaked, and become much more predictable. The Trump White House guidance is basically this: get back to work. Go live your lives. Use common sense and stop treating your neighbors like they're suspects in some sort of invisible crime. But the Blue State Express isn't going to want to stop. However, the Trump train has the right-of-way. It has this thing called the Supremacy Clause and the Commerce Clause in the Constitution. And the president must cite them and use them to protect Americans who happen to live in blue states. In the end, though, the American people have a choice of hopping aboard this bullet train to liberty or staying aboard a tyrannical locomotive that is destined to crash.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One American News on YouTube, and call your cable provider and kindly demand that One American News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.